So we'll just call that up now. So I'll minimize this one and bring up my other one. There we go. This one I resized so that it just fits inside the hoop. And if I go to show my stitches now, you'll see that the satin stitch is actually, I'll zoom in, the satin stitch is actually, because of the width of the satin stitch, is actually outside the stitching area of the hoop. And so you need to be careful when you're resizing your graphic that you do allow for the width of any satin stitch outlines so that they do stay within the hoop. I'm going to just edit select all on this particular one. I'll just go back to show all, edit select all, and I'm going to reduce the size of the whole thing slightly. There we go. Probably just a fraction more. And I've got manual centering, so while it's all selected, I'm just going to move it across to the center of the hoop so that you can see that I've now cleared, with my satin stitch, I've actually cleared the stitching area, so I'm within the hoop for the whole design. Okay, so you can adjust it afterwards. So now we'll go back to our graphic. I'll just minimize this design and call up the graphic. There we go. Now if you do want to resize your graphic, you need to be in Art Canvas, of course, and the size of your graphic will show up here, the width and the height. Okay, now you need to select the graphic first by left clicking on it so that your nodes are around, and if you want to keep it in proportion, you need to lock the proportion by left clicking on this little lock. And then by changing one dimension you can change both. Now you can resize graphics by dragging here to make larger or smaller, but if you have a specific size you want to go to, you can just type it in here, and provided this is locked, it will keep it in proportion. So we'll just change this here. Now I converted her 15 inches and 10 inches into millimeters, but I'm going to reduce it slightly from what she originally wanted because of that problem of the satin stitch outline becoming too wide for the hoop. So let's go 23 millimeters wide, so that'll be 230 millimeters, sorry, 23 centimeters wide, 230 millimeters. So I'm just going to put that in there, and if I press my enter button, it will automatically change the height in proportion, and then we can move on to our embroidery canvas. Now I wouldn't even try to clean up this picture. If it was a vector graphic I would, but because it's a JPEG, it's much quicker just to go straight in and manually digitize over the top of the design. So let's go straight to our embroidery canvas. It takes about the same time, if not less, to manually digitize than it does to clean up the JPEG. Also, the size of this JPEG was huge, and my software crashed every time I tried to click on the touch up picture icon. So I would have to reduce the size of the picture or take it into some other program in order to touch it up, because my software just wouldn't cope with such a huge JPEG. And then you would have to enlarge it and you would run into pixelation problems again. So let's just go straight into digitizing over the top. Now I'm going to do this as an applique, and I'm going to be using my advanced applique tool. So I'm just going to create Satin Outlines. So I'm going to set my outline to start with. You need to choose a tool first. I'm going to choose my open object tool, because with our advanced applique we can use both open and closed objects. And I'm going to go down and set my outline to satin, And before I start, I'm going to go to my object properties and set the satin width at 4mm. 4mm is a good width for applique. It gives a good coverage to the edge of the fabric. If you go any narrower, you start to run into issues with the fabric edge not being covered sufficiently. But if your design is smaller, then sometimes you do have to skimp a little bit on the satin stitching. But if it's a lot smaller, then perhaps that design isn't suitable for applique, and you would be better off digitizing with a fill stitch. I'm going to go OK, and I can start. And I can start in any order I like. I'm just trying to get my mouse here to, that's better, get on my mouse pad. So I've got my open object tool. I'm going to start with my neck because that is underneath the face and underneath the dress. So I'm just going to choose a colour, and I'll choose this little pale fleshy pink colour, faded pink, and I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to left click my little face neck in. So I just need a little line that side, enter, and a little line this side, enter. Now these are going to be more or less lost under the other lines, but you do need them there to close the areas that you want your fabric to go into. So it may seem like a bit of a hassle, but you're better off to make sure that your areas for your fabric are fully enclosed at the end. Okay, I'll zoom out a little bit, and I'll now do the outline for the face. And because the face is a circular object, I'm just going to choose my circle, and I'm going to left click in the middle of the circle and left click roughly on the diameter. Now that's going to be a little bit bigger than the face, so I'll just come down and make some sort of compromise here. That looks to be about right. I'll left click on the out of the circle, and because I want a circle, I'm going to just press my enter button, and there's my circle. Now I'll select it and just move it slightly so that I've got a better position there for it. There, I'm happy with that. Okay. And you can go on digitizing all the outlines you need to digitize. Now you notice I am not in artistic view. The reason for this is the software copes better when you're not in artistic view. You can digitize in artistic view, but also if I zoom in, I can actually see the lines under my digitizing. So if I need to go to areas such as, if I zoom out again, down here where my dress is going to go over the neck, I can still see the lines and the points where I need to digitize. And whereas if I'm in artistic view, I'll just show you, you can no longer see exactly where the lines go. I mean, I can guess here, but in some instances you really need to be able to see through your stitching. So one way to do that is to not use the artistic view while you're digitizing. Okay, I'll just do the hair. So I'll zoom out. I need my open object tool again, and let's pick a colour for the hair. Let's pick a nice gold, and I'm going to left click and right click around. So you'll go on building up your design like this from the base to the top, and of course if you get things out of kilter, out of the order you want them in, you can always move them in your film strip, and I've covered this in other videos. So I would probably just go back to my other design now that I've completely finished, and so I'll just minimize this one and bring up my other design. Okay, so once you've digitized all your areas, you can go to the artistic view, because the artistic view then allows you to check that you've got things in the order, stitching in the order you want them. For instance, when I zoom in here, I can see that my detail line across here is actually underneath my applique line. You may notice that my lines are different thicknesses here. I did choose, because this was only a detail line, to make it slightly narrower. And for the dress, I chose to to actually increase the satin stitch to a width of 5, which, because the dress is such a big object, and that looks a little bit more dramatic. And I've taken a little bit of license here in the, if I zoom out, in the fold lines for the dress. Here they didn't touch the shoulder, so on this side I didn't cover them all the way to the shoulder too. So you've got those options if you digitize as you straight over the graphic. And you can see here I've actually just copied and pasted the bows, so they're all the same, so they don't fit exactly where the bows were drawn, but that's no big deal. Where I've got two pieces overlapping, for instance the neck pieces are underneath here, but they don't seem to show up because the stitching width covers them, I did actually select the face line, and I'll go out of artistic view to show you that. I selected the face line and I clicked on the remove overlaps. So you'll see that my two little neck pieces are no longer straight lines. They have actually been chopped away here. So there's only the bare amount of stitching needed for those. Okay. And for the highlights for the hair, I've actually just used, I'll go back into artistic view and zoom in. I've just used a triple stitch here, and after I digitized all the pieces for the hair, I selected all the hair pieces and then clicked on the Blackwork Run tool, which eliminated all my jump stitches. So these are a triple run, and you'll notice again I haven't put them exactly on the lines of the graphic because that would be underneath the outline and it wouldn't look very good. Now once you've got all your details in and you're happy with your actual embroidery, let's go back to show all. You're ready to do your applique, but before you do that you may want to check that your embroidery looks how you want it to do. Now the one question Joanne was interested in was how to get rid of this graphic from underneath, which is confusing the issue. And all you need to do as a temporary measure is to select it and come up here to your graphic, show picture icon, and just left click on that, and that will remove the picture. And you can easily see now that whether you've covered all the areas and all your areas are enclosed before you go in to put your fabric in place. Alright, now we're going to go over to put the fabric in place. So we're going to go edit select all. Now I know there are parts in this design that do not form outlines. That's okay. We'll just go edit select all, and once that's selected our little rabbit becomes available for the advanced applique. And it's a big design, so it's taking a little while to load. While that little circle is spinning, it's loading. There we go. Now I'll just try and move this across a bit for you. I can now fill my fabric, and I've covered this in other videos too, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'll just pause the video. Now I've put colours in nearly all the areas. I'm just going to put my white in the last bit. Now you can see these are all separate little areas, so don't forget to merge your patches together. And that's just a matter of going back and clicking on merge patches together. Click the first one and click on its adjoining one. You'll see the red line then, the white line then goes around both areas, and then we can click on the first one again and its adjoining one, and the first one again. You've got to get that red line first, then its adjoining one, and so on. So now that will become one area of fabric, and I will go back and do the rest later. I also need to merge these three red pieces as well. One thing I did notice is that the whites of my eyes are going to be well, they're asking for fabric here. I don't have to put fabric in there. I should have actually digitized, I should put the pink in there and merge it with the pink and then digitize some whites with stitching, because it's such a small area. I won't want to be fiddling around with a tiny bit of fabric that size. So I'm going to now just go back and go back into my place fabric and colour patches, and these are the colours that I'd already used in the design, so I don't have to go looking for the colour again. I can just select that one and put it in that patch and that patch, and then I'm going to merge that one with, sorry, I need to go to my merge tool, don't I? Back, merge patches together. So I'm going to select this one, and they've all turned red. So here we've run into a little problem. I'm going to go back and to try again, and then I'm going to just click on, keep moving till I can just get one eye, and then try and click on the other one. That's better, and then click on this eye and click on the face. So you sometimes have to fiddle around a little bit to get your merging happening how you want it, but now I've got that whole area, and I can merge with the chin as well. So click on that one, turn it red, and merge with the chin. Okay, so back to our embroidery by simply closing this tool, and as I said, I'm going to zoom in here and put some whites in the eyes. Closed object, color white, and I'm going to leave it as a step fill, and I'm just going to notice I'm digitizing a little bit inside the previous stitching so that I get good coverage, because I'm going to put these whites underneath. Enter, and I might just copy and paste that. So select it, copy, paste, drag it over to this side. Because I copied and pasted the eyes, they're both the same shape, and I just need to select both of those now from the, I need to move these under the purple. Now, because I've got all this going on, I need to be in my individual objects, and I need to come down till I find my eyes. Okay, there's my purple eyes and my black outside of my eyes. I need my whites to be here, so I just need to grab them and move them up. Oops, too far. To there, and it didn't like that. Let me try again. Grab them. Now it's not letting me move anything. So I'm suspecting that that's because this is now an applique. So in order to move them, I need to edit, select all, and then my break apart tool becomes available. So I can left click on that, and now I can move those whites of the eyes. So it's not necessary to start all over again. If you do need to make any alterations, you can use the break apart tool to fix any minor issues. Okay, I hope this has helped. If you want to, let's just go back to one to show all. And we now have a lovely little applique design here. Well, not little, large. If you need to delete your picture permanently, you can go, sorry, let's show the picture again. You can select the picture only, and you can see I can move that picture separately. I've only selected the picture, and while that's selected, I'll just zoom out so you can see, yes, the nodes are around. I can just hit my delete button, and that will permanently remove the picture. Now if you made a mistake, you can always undo and it will bring it back, but you need to do that before you save the design. Okay, I hope that's helped, and I hope you start to think about doing some different projects with your applique.